across this big, brown, flat, mysterious, crazy country, Telstra MobileNet Digital presents Martin Molloy with Mick Molloy and Tony Martin.
And today we're going to try and flush out that imposter who's been dragging Kerry Packer's name through the mud. We'll check out Dr. Brendan Nelson's successful attempt to wrestle the comedy crown from Arthur Tunstall. We've forced Judith Lucy to watch the first episode of the all-new Midday Show, and she'll be thanking us in person. We'll be finding out if you can help McDonald's sell goat burgers on Radio Gladiators. We'll play Moment of Truth, and joining us live, just back from the UK, that Logie losing troublemaker Russell Gilbert. It's all coming up on the show that makes Paula Abdul reach for the sick bag, Martin Molloy.
The all-new SAFM.
All I want to do is have a little fun before I die. There's a man next to me.
Sheryl Crow right there, welcoming you to another week of Martin Molloy with a bit of all I want to do is have some fun. And I'd be Tony Martin sitting in one of the comfy chairs. And in the other one, this bloke, the son, John Howard, refused to tell 60 Minutes about Mick Molloy.
Yes, I was very embarrassed to be deleted from that program.
Understood. Now, we should also welcome aboard Canberra.
Yep.
Because I believe this show, I mean, I didn't even know this show was going out at all, quite frankly, but apparently it's going to Canberra now, and probably a lot of confused people in Canberra wondering how it works. Well, people, it's a very simple formula. Music, talk, and mucking about with the occasional lavish giveaway to paper over the flat spots. It's a very simple Australian format.
Given a game away, T. Martin. They're on to us.
It's very simple. It'll be easy to follow, we promise you. And let's kick things off, Mick, with media tycoon Kerry Packer, who last night described as nonsense allegations of links with Hollywood Madam Heidi Fleiss. Now, according to California prostitute, and gee, that's a high-profile job description these days, Judy Geller, an Australian, called Kerry Packer hired as many as 9 prostitutes from Fleiss. Geller, testifying in a US federal court, said that she and 7 or 8 other women were flown by a Mr. Packer to Las Vegas in 1992. She said this Mr. Packer paid her and 3 other women 10 grand each to spend a week with him. Now, our own beloved Kerry Francis Bullmore Packer has described claims that it's him as nonsense, and I have to say, Mick, I was relieved to hear that, because I'm sure I wasn't the only person over the weekend who, against their will, found themselves painting a rather unpleasant mental picture. In fact, the image I was getting, it was a bit like, remember in the 3rd Star Wars film, Jabba the Hutt, when he had Princess Leia chained up in a bikini? Not a pleasant image at all. But okay, so it's not the Kerry Packer we all know and love. Well, who is it? Who is this imposter flying hookers back and forth to Vegas and distributing checks for 10 grand like packets of Smarties? Why has he selected the name Kerry Packer as a nom de plume, and exactly how far does he intend to take his little ruse? I mean, is Mr. X going to start popping up at polo games, showing up on Ray? Is he going to phone up a TV station and have a Doug Mulray show pulled off after only 1 episode? Oh, hang on. It's all starting to make sense, Mick. It is indeed. What do you make of it?
Well, let's see. Hugh Grant, $80. Kerry Packer, $10,000. That seems about right to me. It's quite a disparaging figure there, isn't it? Imagine if it was the Kerry Packer.
Which, of course, it isn't.
Oh, we know that.
It's not
He
him.
said so. $10,000, it's a lot of money, but I still don't reckon that'd even get you a lap dance. You know what I mean? We're talking big bucks. He's got 4 of them. He's got 4 of them on 10 grand each. What are they doing? Are they working in shifts? Does a whistle blow? Do 2 climb down? The other 2 put the hard hats on, get the rock climbing gear on, and go into battle? How does this work out? It's a big job. You'd have to put it out to tender, I'd reckon. There'd be super involved, rollovers, nest eggs. Start to work out, well, if it was, where $5.4 million of bullion could have got to. Just imagine, Tone, you could, if it was, which we know it's not, if it was Kerry Packer, you could earn more spending a night with Kerry Packer than you could do hosting one of his programs. Imagine that. What do you want to do? Spend a week in Vegas with Kerry, or host Australia's funniest home video show for the next 5 years? Geez, with those as options, I'd say it's a fair bet Daryl Summers will be hosting A Hey for the next 20 years.
Martin Malloy on SAFM.
Here on Martin Malloy and Mick, I have to say there's been a lot of talk in the papers and on the news over the weekend about high-profile Liberal candidate Dr. Brendan Nelson. Take us through the story.
Well, do you know much about this chap, Tone?
Not a lot, no.
Well, he rose to prominence. He got pre-selection in some blue ribbon seat. And, it irked some of the old schoolers because he's a bit new agey. He's got a bit of an earring.
The new midday show started today.
Oh, I've missed it.
Neither of us were watching, but don't worry, we farmed that responsibility out to somebody else. I think she's online now from her spectacular Perth estate. Is that you, Judith Lucy?
It certainly is, guys, and gee, you give me all the great jobs.
Sorry about this. You got the short straw.
We gave you a choice, didn't we? $10,000 for a weekend in Las Vegas with a Mr. Kerry Packer, or $100 to sit at home on the couch and watch Midday.
Let's be honest, though, it did take me a couple of minutes to make that choice.
Now, tell us about Midday. Take us through it. What happened?
Well, look, it kind of kicked off with Ray Martin and Jeff Harvey coming out, and Ray starting off with a bit of hilarious banter about how he'd been in the studio for the last year and a half and where had everybody else been.
Right.
And that kind of set the just zany, just non-stop laughter tone that David Rain and Tracy Grimshaw managed to keep up for a whole hour.
Oh, they just took that ball and ran with it, did they?
Well, they did because, you know, they ran with it, but they were helped by so many Australian favourites. We had Gary Sweet being interviewed, who was so relaxed you might almost have been, you know, forgiven for thinking he'd had a couple of slabs before he went on. Then, of course, we had a very, very funny segment with a live celebrity bloopers with Stephen Jacobs, Kerry Ann Kennelly and Don Lane. And Stephen Jacobs told a very entertaining story about how once he'd walked into the women's toilets instead of the men's. And I thought, you know, no wonder you're on Just Kidding when you get yourself into crazy scrapes like that.
And what was Don up to?
What was what? Don actually told such a long-winded story about being on an elephant that I don't think anybody could follow it. Kerry Ann just kept saying, oh, come on, Don, they've only got another few minutes. So I've got no idea what Don was up to. But they had a very excellent doctor on as well, Dr. Adrian Johns, who must be taking Dr. James Wright's place. And Dr. Adrian actually just talked a lot about how sneezing was a lot like having an orgasm, which I thought was pretty raunchy for midday. But Tracy Grimshaw was doing, because there were a lot of fun double entendres, as you can imagine, and Tracy was doing so much eyebrow work that, well, I hadn't seen the likes of it since Greg Evans on Blind Date.
Now, do you think the show's got legs? Is it going to work, or is it going to be run into the ground, you know, like when Darren took it out for a drive around the block and crashed it at the first intersection? Is it going to be a repeat of that?
Well, you know, Tony, I've got to say that for my money, it needs one of two things.
What?
Because having had a look at the audience, I am pretty sure that they have all been there since 1972. And I think the only way we could really liven it up would be to maybe introduce some kind of lucky euthanasia spot prize or bring back Jade Hurley.
Well, thanks for your helpful suggestions there, Judith, and thanks for endearing the program for us.
Will you be watching tomorrow?
Oh, you betcha.
And I think Baywatch is starting again soon. Do you want to have another assignment for the program?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, good on you, Judith.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
See ya.
This is Martin Malloy.
Do not adjust your radio.
I think so.
Whose fault's that?
I'm putting the finger firmly at you, quite frank.
Yeah, you don't mind doing that, do you? Any problems?
Now, who else have we got being roped into this program today? Russell Gilbert, he's going to be
Gilberto.
your old flatmate. Do you think
Yeah,
he's going to have another revealing story about his few years living
Certainly
with you?
hope not. I think we've raided that bicky jar, haven't we?
We might give it another crack, though. That's coming up quite soon. And on the way, Radio Gladiators.
This is Martin Malloy
From West Beach to Parafield, we're flying through Adelaide's best rock.
on the all-new SAFM.
It's Bon Jovi. This ain't a love song, and you're driving home with Martin Malloy and Mick. Here's some news. Listen to this. McDonald's is about to open in India, and they've announced they'll be serving goat burgers instead of beef as a concession to local sensibilities, because, of course, your cow, that's regarded as a sacred creature in India.
They rule the roost over there, don't they?
Oh, it's like the Ford Falcon in Australia. It's just that significant. And there are severe penalties for killing one, even by accident. So, slicing one up and whopping it between a couple of sesame seed buns, you'd be straight to the chair for that. So they're going with the goat burgers, and I don't know, is it going to be easy for McDonald's to market a goat burger?
Sounds like a Q4.
Radio Gladiators, your chance to represent your state and win fame, glory, and fabulous prizes. Here's today's challenge.
We're looking for marketing ideas for McDonald's, ways they can market the goat burger and just make it a winner. We're looking for slogans. Looking for jingles. We're looking for TV ad suggestions. What else, Mick? Any?
Would you like horns with that?
There's one right there. It can be just one line, a way you're going to sort of, sell the goat burger to a slightly suspicious public. And what about characters?
What about a kind of hamburglar kind of character who just steals goat burgers?
That kind of thing.
The McGoat burglar.
The fillet o' goat.
The McNanny.
It's a good time for the great taste of goat. This is the kind of suggestions we're looking for, and you're not doing
The
this.
devil's burger.
Indeed. It's so simple. And if your suggestion is the best one, you'll win a CD pack, 3 CDs, including the Batman Forever soundtrack. But better than that, you'll go into the draw for a weekend for 2 at Le Méridien at the Rialto. It sounds a bit French, but it's not at all. Absolutely not. At the Rialto Hotel in Melbourne. No matter where you are across the big brown land, we'll get you down there somehow.
It's a gorgeous spot.
It certainly is. It's, you know what it is, Mick? It's the soul of Europe in the heart of Melbourne.
Tell someone who doesn't know that, Tone. You're wasting your time with me.
And you can take part in Canberra as well, because we've added Canberra to the big Martin Malloy menu today.
They're still with us. Maybe they've heard enough.
I think they've tuned over to the Test Pattern channel by now. But, yes, so call now from anywhere in Australia on 1800 657 657. Radio Gladiators, the challenge today.
No, we're not, Tone. You know what we're playing?
What?
The goat competition. That's what everyone's saying. Is this the goat competition?
That's right, we're acting the goat today on Martin Malloy. And what's happened is McDonald's are going to be trying to sell goat burgers in India. And we're just coming up with a few marketing suggestions and ways they can do that. I think it's hard to go past our producer's suggestion. Mick Gracie's come up with the slogan, "You deserve a goat today." But let's see what the Gladiators have got to say. Who have we got?
Our first gladiator is Paul. Hello, Paul.
How you going?
Good, mate. Now, what's your idea?
All right, well, the one with the cow in it, the Australian one goes, smack time. So the one with the goat in it goes, meh, smack time.
Oh, you're a genius. Have you got 2 eyes in your name? You're an advertising genius, Paul. Well done, mate.
But have we got David there? David?
Yes, we do.
What's your suggestion?
Well, with every goat burger you buy, you get a free Pete Smith figurine plus a free photo taken with him.
Hang on a second, David. Are you aware that in some countries, Pete Smith is, what do you call him?
He's a sacred creature.
A sacred creature. If he's standing in traffic, you can't drive on. You've got to stop and wait till Pete decides to move, or else the crowd will come out and beat you to death. But do you understand?
It's a nice suggestion anyway. Have we got Debbie there? Debbie?
Yes, I'm here.
What's your suggestion to get the goat burgers moving?
Oh, this is a bit excellent. Don't get on my goat. Get a goat burger and ask for a Billy burger.
A Billy burger? Yeah, they can't see the kids going for that. I'd like a Billy burger, please. They want a Mega Mac. They want something they can get into. They want a Billy burger. Can you do any better than that, Debbie?
No. She's gone to the Northern Territory, I think, after your harsh treatment over there, Mick. Have we got, I think the next one is Vanessa. Vanessa, you there?
Yeah, hi.
What's your suggestion?
Well, I think you should call it the McHorny.
Right.
And put it on the kids' menu. But let's launch it at a Freemasons convention.
At a Freemasons convention?
Well, I think they do a bit of work with goats. That's not been confirmed, Mick, but I understand that there's a bit of...
Satan kind of stuff.
There's a bit of goat work done down there.
Yes? Okay, Vanessa?
not a bad suggestion, Vanessa. Have we got Lisa on the line? Lisa,
Yes, I'm here.
what's your suggestion?
Well, my suggestion is like a little song, I suppose. It's just, if someone really gets on your goat, take them down to Macca's and shove the real thing down their throat.
Oh, nice aggressive pitch.
Yes, that's
like
good.
that.
I think we've got time for one more, Mick. Who is it going to be?
We've got Melanie on the line. Hello, Melanie.
Hi.
How are you?
Mine's a bit of a copy off the Pick Apart ad.
Oh, really?
Might be illegal, I don't know.
No, there's plenty of room for plagiarism in advertising, don't you worry. Let's hear it.
Don't break your vow, don't eat a cow, just get a goat, get a goat, get a goat, get a goat.
Get a goat, get a goat, get a goat, get a goat.
And with that phrase ringing in our heads, I think we've found a winner! Yes!
You've got that 3-pack of CDs, Melanie.
Oh, thanks.
And I don't think your particular track's on any of them, but I can see you being signed up by one of the record companies as soon as you get off the phone. And also, you've gone into the draw for that weekend for 2 at the Rialto Hotel in Melbourne.
You're the best.
It doesn't get any better than that, does it? But stick around, people, because it just might. After the news, we'll be joined by Russell Gilbert.
This is Martin Malloy.
You've got a couple of low-grade goof-ups crowding your airspace.
Brought to you by Telstra Mobile Net Digital.
We've got the Black Thunders out on the street playing SAFM and Coca-Cola's Ice Cold Stash. Guys?
Blackwood is where the Black Thunders have landed this hour, and our giant Coke can is stacked with great stash. We've got icy cold cans.
With an SA8.
And in this hour of Martin Malloy, Moment of Truth, the Pamela Anderson report. But next up, we'll be on for a yak as opposed to a goat with Russell Gilbert. And it's all courtesy of Telstra Mobile Net Digital. I'm just thinking, what are our Canberra listeners, because Canberra have jumped aboard from today, Mick, what are they making of the show so far?
I reckon there's a bit of a debrief going on in Canberra right now. I reckon people are marching in the streets. Never seen the likes of it.
Well, if they want to fax us and tell us, they can, because you can fax us from anywhere in the country on 1800 816 679. And remember, it's free and it's fun. So it's as simple as that.
Can't argue with that, T. Martin.
And this is the part of the program where we roll out the carpet for the guest, and here he is. He's been on before. He's come back for more. It's Russell Gilbert. Hey, Gilberto.
Thanks, Bunky, Mickey.
Mate.
Good, mate. How are you?
Good. Now, Gilbert, you've just got back from England. Is that true?
Yeah, went to England for Hey Hey Saturday and did a few crosses from Wombleton over there.
Wimbledon?
Oh, I called it Wombleton. Well, I seen no Australians. I seen them shopping because they were all out of the tournament by the time I got there.
Right.
But, yeah, had a reasonable time.
Yeah. How do you cope with England? I can't picture Russell Gilbert wandering around England with a...
Well, neither can I, really.
Are you comfortable there?
Oh, well, I just didn't hang around teller machines. But the thing is... over there they rob you before you, it doesn't matter. But the thing is, in London, they queue for everything. In England, they just love queuing. And you just see a queue, and I stood in the queue for about an hour, and went nowhere. Like went, oh, it's my turn to be up the front now. It's like they don't care where they're going as long as they get to the front, and then they go back again. And they charge you for everything. It's expensive. You go to the toilet, it's 20p and 10p, and I only wanted 1p. There's a bad joke for you.
Okay.
No, but they have...
Sorry, Gilbert, our drummer's off sick today.
No, they have... If you want to go, for the wee, and it's 10p, and if you want the other one, it's 20p, and paper, I didn't even negotiate, True, they have toilets in the street you've got to pay. It's quite an amazing place.
Yeah. And now, what about the food? What do you make of the... did you get into the fish and chips and that kind of stuff?
The fish and chips, I did have fish and chips, actually. I asked the bloke if my fish was cooked, and he said, why do you ask? I said, because it's eaten half of the bloody chips.
Oh, dear, we're away. It's cooking.
So you were there. The reason for being there, of course, is the tennis. Now, I know there would have been quite a bit of social activity incorporated into that trip. Did you get out and about, and what did you get up to?
I went out one night. I actually went out 2 nights. I went and seen this, it was like a play, but it was. I thought I was going to one on Broadway, but I was actually going to one on Soho.
Right.
So it was a bit ragged, really, basically.
Not your Andrew Lloyd Webber gear.
Oh well, the music was great, but,
But were you driving a white BMW at all?
No. There is actually a place over there called Grant's Shoes. Speaking of you, Grant, yeah, and That's what you were saying, weren't you? And I thought basically that's what he's doing over there now. He's opened up a shoe shop ever since he's been found out. I could just imagine that Hugh Grant, because I was over there when it was sort of really bubbling, you know, and they were playing, you know, you can imagine Hugh Grant. I feel it in my fingers, I feel it in my toes. That was all happening over there.
Gee, that made that Mariah Carey look pissweak, didn't it? Absolutely. Now, Gilbo, can you stick around for a while?
I'd love to, fellas. You know, I'd love it. Hey, I've got to give a cheer out to Glenn Robbins because he just rang me on the way. He said to say hello.
Oh, good on you, Glennie. Now, of course, because whenever you come in, Gilbo, we want to hear one of your stories about living with Mick Molloy.
All right.
So you go away and prepare one.
All right.
And we'll be back for more.
Make one up.
I'll make one up.
Oh, yeah, okay. Keep it for the next segment, guys. We'll be back for more of a chat with Gilbo in just a moment on Martin Molloy.
All right.
Phil Gilbert has joined us on the panel, and Gilbo, I have to say you're in England. You've just got back. Did you have any brushes with fame? Did you meet any famous people?
Yes, I met two famous people. Well, I met one. I actually was sitting having a pizza in Harrods. I have a pizza bar in Harrods. Yeah. And lo and behold, I looked next to me, and who should it be? Hey, you make me feel like dancing, Leo Sayer.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
Did he have the afro still
He
happening?
still has the afro happening, and he was a very nice bloke. I'm sitting there talking, and he said how much he loves Australia and stuff. I think his first 7 hits were #1 here and nowhere else. No wonder, you know.
He has fond memories.
Yeah, but no, he was fantastic, and he, at the end he said, "Look, can I buy you a drink?" And so I was with Mark McGann, and we're sitting down, so he bought us a drink, and then in the end of it, I thought, if we skip away, he'll have to cover our pizza as well. But in the end, he pulled out his card, his not Medicare, his Diners or something, one of those ones I don't have, and he paid for our pizza as well.
Oh, good idea. Yeah. But you realise you owe Leo Sayer a pizza now, okay?
Oh, yeah, long time.
And he'll be coming to collect one day.
There'll be a knock on the door. Remember me, Russell Gilbert? London, 1995. When you buy a man a pizza, you never forget the face.
He's only about 3'6", too. You know?
Yeah, who was the other one?
I seen Bob Geldof. He was in a cafe. He was just in a cafe, a street cafe, like something like you'd see in Brunswick Street, or in Sydney, that other street, or anyway, you know those little streets that you see where they have cafes. But what happens is the cafe. He was basically just singing, you know, ever since Paulie Yates left, he just sings that song, you know. I don't like Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. Tell me why, because Paula left me.
You just love any excuse for a sing, don't you, Gilbo?
Oh, yeah.
When are you going to do an album?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not very good. Yeah, well, yeah. Thanks, fellas.
I've seen you performing live on stage, Russell Gilbert, upstairs at a live venue with Ding Dong. And you were doing, what were you doing? You were doing Hey Paula. You were doing a very drunken version of Hey Paula, if I remember correctly.
That's the only time you really want to sing that, Mick, is when you are drunk. But I do remember that we were at a club one night and I was singing Hey Paula.
You see, you two go way back, and I think it's time for the theme music, Gracie, yes, because Gilbo and Mick did used to live together for a period, and every time he comes in, we want to hear a bit of a story about living with Mick. Gilbo, can you give us a story that might throw a bit of insight into his character?
I can only tell you this is one I thought of on the way. I couldn't, because I'm trying to get a book together and put a lot down.
Okay.
So whenever I come in, I'll have some more now. I haven't thought about it. I didn't know I was going to be back this soon. But there was one when I was actually, I was out on the Friday night, and it was a Saturday the races were on. Yeah. And my mate used to give me the tips, a friend of ours, David and Jenny, who are back here, and in Australia. And so I got the tips this morning, and I got this really good tip, and I walked in the mix room, and he's in bed, and he staggered in probably about 6 in the morning, because I could hear the crumpets getting cooked, you know. You know, he's cooking crumpets, and you know, and some. Oh, look, I got up. Look, you see the crumpets? They're only cooked on one side because he can't be bothered. He's drunk and stupid to cook the other side.
It's a familiar story.
It is a familiar story. And so I've just walked into his room and I said, "Hey Mick, I got a tip. Do you want to have a go? Do you want to back this tip?" And Mick goes, "There's $100 on the dressing table. Just grab it off there." I said, "You want to come to the telly?" He goes, "Get out of here." Just really angry, like, I don't know what I've done. And so I go down a tab, and I've had 100 on this horse for him, and I've had 100 on myself, and it paid $7.20. So I take back $820 to Mick. I said, "Mick, we won." He says, "How much?" I go, $820. He goes, is that all? Yeah, well, you just put it on the dressing table. We got 100 and let me get back to sleep.
That's true. I woke up about 6 hours later and going, hey, Gilbert, there's $800 on my dresser.
And that's the most uncanny Mick Malloy impression I've heard in quite some time, Russell. Thanks for coming in today.
Thank you.
Will you come back again?
Anytime.
Okay, we've been talking to Russell Gilbert on Martin Malloy.
Moment of truth.
And it's a very simple idea for a competition to our Canberra listeners who are joining us today and are wondering how it works. Don't worry, you're in safe hands because you're with two blokes who know how to explain a competition, believe you me.
It doesn't come any simpler.
Mick, explain away.
You got 4 facts, but that's a bit of a ruse because only one of them is true. So disregard the notion there are 4 facts when we tell you that. We've got to keep telling you that. We'll tell you that every day, 4 facts, but there's only one. So we're going to say 4 facts, but only one is true. You're counting on.
Look, it's just all becoming crystal clear to everybody now. Let me just try it a different way. 4 statements, only one of them actually true.
I liked the other one. What was that? 4 things.
Do you think we've made it clear?
Yeah, I think it's clear as mud.
Are they putting the pieces together?
Slowly but surely.
All you have to do is spot the true thing and you'll be up for prizes. Tell us about them, Pete Smith.
Every contestant on Moment of Truth scores a copy of Max Sharam's album, $1 Million Girl. I've heard it, and if there's a better album released this year, I'll be dining on Hattel Orange.
I'm coming around. I'm coming around. You got to be. You have got to be born.
Every winner goes into the draw for a week of indulgence for 2 at Bellbrae, Australia's only boutique health retreat, right on the beach between Byron Bay and Coolangatta. I've been to Bellbrae myself, and as a result can now bench press the Deputy Prime Minister. Back to you, lads.
And he's not joking, and it's good to have Bellbrae back in the Martin Malloy fold.
Welcome home.
It's a fabulous prize, and it's an easy competition. While we're playing the little Pete Smith thing, our producer Gracie goes, isn't it just a multiple choice? How many months we've been doing this show and we haven't thought to use the phrase multiple choice?
It's multiple choice, everyone. One of them's right. Could be A, could be B, could be C, could be D. Won't be A and B or
No.
B and D. It's only going to be one.
The sun's starting to come out.
If it's A, it won't be B, C or D.
We have to move on, Mick.
If it's D, it's hardly ever D.
No.
Oh, now I'm giving the game away.
That's right. And if you'd like to play Moment of Truth, what's the number to call?
The number to call is 1-800-657, repeat, 657.
This is Martin Malloy, brought to you by...
Malloy, where we're in the thick of Moment of Truth. Who have you got on the line, Mickey?
We got Doug on the line. G'day, Doug.
How are ya?
Good, mate. How are you?
Great.
That's away. Are you ready to play Moment of Truth, Doug?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, here's how it works.
4 facts. Only one of them actually true. Can you pick the moment of truth? Okay, lads, let fly with the porkies.
Thanks, Pete. Now, Doug, have you seen the film Free Willy?
No, I haven't.
It's a whale flick, and there's a sequel coming out, and that's what our question concerns today. Here we go. The upcoming sequel to the hit movie Free Willy is titled A, Free Willy 2, The Return of Willy, B, Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home, C, Free Willy 2, The Search for Plankton, D, The Marlon Brando Story. You want some thinking music, don't you, Doug?
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, you're not getting any. We want the answer, pal.
A.
Oh, not. For some reason, it's called Free Willy 2, The Adventure Home. So you're not going to Bellbrae, Doug. But don't worry, because you have got yourself a copy of the Max Sharam album.
Oh, cool.
It's $1 Million Girl, and it's just wall-to-wall music that's going to have you
Chockers.
dancing around the house no matter what activity you're involved in. And thanks for playing Moment of Truth.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Doug. Here on Martin Malloy.
This is your captain speaking, so stop whatever you're doing and pay attention.
Martin Malloy on SAFM.
Rocktober has arrived early at Martin Molloy. Hit me with your best shot. That's a bit of Pat Benatar. And it's time for our weekly story involving Pamela Anderson.
Oh, goody.
Because there's always plenty to choose from. Listen to this one. Mick. Motley Crue drummer Tommy Lee is facing a lawsuit after punching a stockbroker in the head for no apparent reason. Gee, I thought that was completely legal. Some parts of the world it's encouraged, I believe. But Lee is alleged to have assaulted businessman Peter Morrison because he was staring at Lee's wife, of course, our Pamela Anderson from Baywatch. Gee, if that's a punchable offence, then every second bloke in the Western world is going to be up for a knuckle sanger courtesy of Tommy Lee. Better get into the training. He's going to be sconning blokes well into the next century. But according to the story, Morrison was just standing in front of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in California when Lee and Pam swanned by. Morrison looked up from his newspaper. He was probably just reacting to this sound, which, as we know, is the sound of Pam preparing for any kind of public appearance. But Lee stopped and angrily asked the stockbroker if he, quote, had a problem. Obviously, the correct answer would have been, yes, I'm a stockbroker. But no, Morrison's come back with, what are you talking about? And Tommy's allegedly gone the punch. Morrison is now suing the rock star, claiming it was totally unprovoked. Now, pardon me, no offence, but isn't being stared at by blokes basically Pamela Anderson's job? I mean, she'd be hard-pressed to put actress on the tax return. And have you seen that classy new promo Channel 10 are running for Baywatch at the moment? It's just a shot of Pam filmed while she was out here, just sitting in a hotel room or something, leaning into the camera saying, for full exposure, catch Baywatch, while what appears to be a couple of plastic soccer balls fight for pole position in her blouse. I mean, is Tommy Lee going to be popping round to visit every bloke who's seen that ad? And what about the sad blokes who've videoed it and watched it over and over? I hope they've got private medical cover. Mind you, I'll tell you an even tackier one Channel 10 are running at the moment. Have you seen this one? It's that one with a shirtless Ian Hewitson going, for full exposure, watch Healthy, Wealthy and Wise.
SAFM.
Martin Molloy on the all-new SAFM.
Mick, it's time once again for you to perform that function that you're so well suited and trained for on the program. It's time to hit the gong.
Okay, could you pass me a club from the bag, please? Maybe the 9-iron.
Okay,
that would be nice. Check this swing out, Tone. Have a look at this.
Join us on a voyage of discovery as we venture into the mind of one of Australia's top all-round entertainers and eavesdrop on his innermost thoughts. This is the inner life of John English.
One day, I'm going to catch up with the bloke who sold me those trick shot binoculars. When Channel 9 announced that someone from All Together Now was going to play a sexy female police psychologist in this new series of movies, I thought it'd be me. 1 minute I'm a pirate, next minute I'm in a samurai outfit. It's only a matter of time before they put me in bananas in pyjamas clothes. Why couldn't it have been me that said, hey, chickie babe? I love working with Simon Gallo. Just wish you wouldn't goose me before we go on stage every night. Not sure I thoroughly approve of Lucky Grill's plan to remake Against the Wind.
SAFM.
Hope people aren't just tuning in now because they'll be thoroughly confused.
Back after this song on the all-new SAFM.
Up another round of Martin Molloy. That's all we got time for. And, I hope our show made it to Canberra, Mick. We've been talking about it.
Yeah, I hope they'll listen. If they didn't listen, of course, they can always just read about it in Hansard tomorrow.
Exactly.
Apparently, that's they're doing.
I hope the technology actually worked because it's a very complicated procedure to get the show. Very large coat hangers is how one of the eggheads described it to me. But anyway, thanks to our guests today, Russell Gilbert and Judith Lucy, and all our valiant gladiators. Tomorrow we'll be joined by Shane Bourne. But until then, remember, if you can't say something intelligent, come talk to us.